Y'all, it is time for the author of Becoming Esquire to speak. This is the Carletta Sanders. Y'all have probably heard amazing things about her already, so I'm not going to belabor that point. But she is going to be talking about authoring your story and making money with your knowledge. And y'all, I met Carletta just in a group that's supposed to help, support, create, and establish a safe space for minority women interested in law. And because of that group, I've just got a chance to see her soar. We even did like a meetup here in Birmingham. So we got a chance, even during COVID, to connect and fellowship. So I'm just happy that she's here today to talk to you guys. So are you ready, Carletta? Because I think they're ready for you.
I am. I am.
Well, Carletta, the floor is yours now. I'm going on mute.
Okay, thank you all for coming in today to be a part of this masterclass. First and foremost, I would definitely just say that I have two big coworkers, aka my dogs. So if you hear any of them, my apologies in advance. The first thing that I wanted to do is something a little interactive. So if you have a business or if you're thinking about starting a business and or writing a book, I'd like you to put that in the comment section just so you can see how many other people are business owners, how many other people are authors, people are thinking about authorship, because this is going to be for you. So I'm going to do just a brief bio about myself. So I'm Carletta. I am a second year law student. I'm also a second year MBA student. So I'm a dual student attaining both degrees at the same time. I am also a military veteran. So I served 8 years in the United States Air Force, and I primarily did logistics and things of that sort. I am the author of Becoming Esquire, a law school survival guide series, and we'll get into that a little bit later. And then lastly, I am the founder of the Juris Society, which is a professional pre-law society for first-generation aspiring law students. The key objectives and takeaways from this particular class is 1, take ownership of your experience and write the book. I cannot just emphasize how important that is. The second would be to commit to continuously learning about your topic or your area of expertise. And then lastly, you should monetize your knowledge. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like for you, specifically in the realm of authorship, just to give you a sneak peek of like what you could do with being an author and the doors that are open because of it. So how do you take ownership of your experience? The first thing, which I would say is probably one of the hardest, is to invest in your confidence. There are a number of ways that you can invest in your confidence. One of them being you get confident off of the things that you do often. So you have to continue to do those things that will better your confidence, right? So it's not like you do something one time and then you're great at it, because a lot of times that's not the case. You may do something one time, you're okay at it, but the more you do it, the better at it you will be, the more comfortable at it you will be, and that's where your confidence grows. Another thing with investing in your confidence is just knowing that what you may think has disqualified you in a way has given you experience in this particular field. So knowing that regardless to how many times you had to start over, how many times you had to try different things, regardless to that, you know more because of the things that you've done, because of the alternative routes that you've taken, as well as the non-traditional means that you've gone about getting the experience that you need. And then when it comes to being okay with taking alternative routes, that is something that you have to be okay with, because not everyone has a straight and narrow journey. Not everyone has a cookie cutter journey. Not everyone starts from point A and then they go to point B and everything's great. I'm glad if that's your story, but for many of us, that is not the story that we have. Some of us thought we wanted to be on one route, and ended up on another. Some of us had to backtrack and start over multiple times, had to take a different route to get to the same destination. And you have to be okay with that, because that's a part of your experience. That's a part of you owning that experience and knowing that regardless to the route that you're taking, it's all going to lead to the destination that you wish. You also just need to be okay with utilizing non-traditional means. I tell people this all the time. You're never in a room that you don't belong in. You just have to be willing to walk through those rooms. You have to be willing to knock on those doors, whether it be traditional or not, whether it be law related or not. For me specifically, I'm not a traditional student, so I didn't go straight through from college to law school. I went to the military first. For some, that's non-traditional. But the expertise that I gained in the military further allowed me to build my confidence when it came to law school. So just be okay with knowing that there's more than one way to skin a cat, as my grandmother would say. There's more than one way. And whenever you decide that you're going to do something, be open to the idea that it may take you a different route, and that the longer you're on this road, the longer you're on that path, and the longer that you're continuing to invest in yourself, your confidence will come. And that's how you take ownership of that experience. Next, you must commit to learning. So you have to equip yourself with the knowledge necessary to establish yourself as the expert. So whatever field you may be in, whether it be law related or not, you want to be the expert in that field. When a consumer thinks of something, whether it be law, beauty, hair, skincare, that you want them to think of you. You want your name to be the first name that pops up, or your brand, when it comes to that particular field. And how do you do that? It takes a lot, but there are a number of ways that you can do that, which is one, just being on top of what's going on, like currently in that particular field, knowing everything about it, but also knowing that you have to continue to grow, and that you may not never know everything, but as long as you're striving, you can present that knowledge to other people. So being aware of current events, being aware of what's going on in your particular field, whether that be, again, law related or not. So if you're in the beauty industry, knowing what type of products are in and what your clients like, and how you can better serve your clients with the particular knowledge that you've gained just by being aware of what's going on in the market. Also, just staying in the know. That's another thing, whether you have to follow certain pages, whether you have to create a page to where people come to your page to stay in the know. And that's something that you can do to establish yourself as the expert. Another thing that I tell my mentees all the time is to utilize the clock-in method. And this is something that helps with studying, but also can help with committing to learn. So with the clock-in method, essentially, if you go to work, or if you go to work every day from 8 to 5, and that's the same thing that everyone else is doing, you all will be paid the same thing. You all will kind of know the same information, and you all be on the same level essentially. But where you get that extra is the overtime that you put in. Everyone knows if you've worked any type of job where you've had to clock in, you get time and a half. If you work overtime, you get extra pay. So in my mind, that extra pay is the extra rewards. And that's what you want, the extra recognition that you are an expert because you've put in that extra time. You've worked overtime to establish yourself as the expert because you've been committed to learning. And that's what's vital. That is something that sets your brand apart from someone else who may not, be familiar with what's going on right now. They may not be familiar with the new techniques that people are using in your field, but you are, because you've put in the time. And that's what's going to set you aside, differentiate your brand from someone else's. And lastly, it's monetizing your knowledge. So why should you do this? I get this question all the time. No one's going to pay. Why would anyone pay to listen to what I have to say? Why would anyone pay to read what I have to say? And my answer is this. You have experiences and skills that others can learn from, that others will want to learn from, that people may not have. You have to give yourself some credit. Again, if you've been on multiple routes, if you've done different things that are non-traditional, you may have gathered information that others in your market have not. And this is one of the reasons why you should monetize your knowledge. Next is that customers are willing to purchase information that they find of value. And how do you get a customer to find your information particularly to be of value? If it's something that they want to know, something that they want to do, and something that they're just interested in. Some people will pay for anything really, like life coaching. That's something that they're interested in. You have so many different means of being a life coach. But if they're interested in that particular topic, they're going to pay for that. If they need a life coach, they're going to pay for that. So you just have to be willing to put the information that you've gained in the marketplace. And speaking of the marketplace, there is a market for everything. Literally everything. You could Google something super ridiculous, and I can guarantee you that there is a market for it and that people are willing to buy it. I often joke with my friends and say, if they're selling crayons, there's a market for that. If they're selling water, there's a market for that. And I think one of the things that we've seen just with the pandemic is paper towels and hand sanitizer. Something that we use, but we don't even really realize that, like, we just buy it as needed. But in a pandemic, that's something that became essential. Your knowledge is essential. And I can guarantee you, just based off of the research that I've done, people are paying more and more for things that they find of value, for things that they're just interested in because they're sitting in the house and they want to take up a new trade, or maybe just gain more knowledge about something that is interesting to them. And if your topic is that the one that they think is interesting, you're doing yourself a disservice by not putting that information into the marketplace. So why should you publish a book, and why does publishing a book help your brand? So there are a number of reasons why you should publish a book and why that book helps your brand. So one of the reasons why ultimately I decided to publish a book is because I kept getting the same questions. How do you do this? How do you do this? What do you think about that? And that triggered me to say, well, there's not a lot of information in the marketplace that people have access to. So why not provide that information? If your family or friends come to you about the same thing, if you are good at something, everyone's good at something, but if you're particularly good at something that people always want to know about, put it in a book. And that is the easiest way to get profits, to be mobile, to have that authority, and to establish that credibility for that particular market. So why publishing a book helps your brand? So say you already have a brand, you already sell products or you have a type of service, anything to that nature. Why would you add an additional thing to that, such as a book? And why is that going to help your brand? So for one, profitability. I just talked about that. Your book is a business. Essentially, you are going to make money off of that. You're creating another stream of income off of your book. And there's no such thing as too many streams of income. Yes, you may have a certain product that you already sell. Putting a book next to that, it's going to, one, make your products more reputable, and you're going to get more profits from the book also. Establishing credibility. So when the data you are presenting is with your brand is in a book, it adds credibility. For some reason, consumers take you more serious if you have a book of some sort. And it doesn't have to be a long book. It doesn't even have to be something that is 80 pages, something that is super formal. People just tend to take you more serious if you have your information in a book, something that they can refer back to, a tangible item, and it can also be electric. That is something that's going to establish credibility for you. So perhaps you are not really looking to Maybe you don't have a brand, right? Maybe you're looking to start a brand, but you have a 9 to 5, or you have a job that you particularly are happy in, and you don't want to move, or you don't want to, do anything, become a full entrepreneur. Having a book gives you passive income. So something that you're very good at, something that you've been doing for a long time. You went to college maybe for this thing, you went to a trade for this thing. You have the knowledge, and you can teach other people also how to do that. So you don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur to write a book. That's not the case at all for most people. So next is going to be individuality. So authors are rare. And people pay high dollar for rarity. So only about 5% of authors actually fully execute and publish books. There's about 81% of people that say that there's a book in them, that they could see themselves writing a book, that they want to write a book. But of that 81%, only about 5% of those people actually execute that and publish a book. So that will make you stand out. And that is going to help you, especially say if you have a brand or you don't have a brand, that will help you with promotions. That will help you with a number of things. It will open more doors for you than not if you hadn't had a book. Next is going to be mobility. Having a book will assist in online and international sales. While there is a current travel ban due to the pandemic, books allow you to be mobile globally. And this is something that I realized with publishing a book. Once I publish a book, I am stationary in Illinois currently. But when I publish my book, so far, I've already sold to 30 different states and 2 countries. And 2 different countries at that. So there's something to say about someone purchasing a book from a different state that you live in, someone that's purchasing a book from a different country that you live in, and seeing your book, whether that be on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, different retail sites, or direct to consumer. Having a book allows you to go places where you maybe physically you cannot go. And again, that opens up a different stream. So authority. Being an author further allows you to establish yourself as an expert. I cannot stress this enough. Establishing yourself as the expert in something, especially when it comes to your particular field, is going to be vital, because that is going to determine, one, whether people will purchase any items from you outside of the book, whether people actually purchase the book, and whether people will believe that, you understand the information that you're putting out there, and that you believe in the information. So there are a lot of times where I will look on someone's page about a particular product and I don't see the product. And I'm thinking like, well, do you actually sell this product or this particular thing, or what is it? So people need to see that you're serious and that you are the expert and that you know what you're talking about and that you actually belong in this particular field. I know that there's one thing that a lot of people do, right? For your social media, if someone goes on your social media page, what you do should be at least one of the first 6 posts, because that's going to tell them what is important to you. That's going to tell them what is going on right now. So if you go to my page in particular, you'll see that I'm a law student. You'll see that I'm also an author. So the first 6 posts of my page will have something to do with either law school or a book, because those are the 2 things. Being a law student is my brand. Having a book that talks about law school assists with that brand. So it makes me more credible. It allows me to establish new customers in the field, new consumers, because they will say that this person is invested in the topic, and you want to be invested in whatever you're writing about and whatever you're doing, because that's what's taking up your time. And in many cases, time is definitely money. So speaking of books, what are the different streams of incomes for authors? And these are just some of the ones that I just came up with. I'm sure there are a number more streams that you guys could come up with also. But just from being an author, you have book sales, you have speaking engagements, you could create an e-course about whatever the book is talking about. An e-course, a how-to guide. Social media is definitely a big thing right now where you can get paid for having all of this information on your platform. Consulting. People want to know what you do, and perhaps they're not interested in learning about what you do, but they're interested in getting you to do whatever it is for them. That's another stream of income. Workbooks that assist with checklists and having information readily available for consumers to actually go through the process. Workshops, that's something that you can do now that we know virtually. Doing workshops, doing on-site classes, teaching about a particular thing that you are familiar with. A podcast. Maybe you don't want to do a workshop or a workbook and you just want to talk about whatever it is that you are knowledgeable about, whatever it is that you have expertise in, and people will pay for that. People will listen to that. You will establish a community, which further allows you to be an expert. And then other associated products. So say you want, you have a book, but you also have a clothing line and you also have different things, right? Shirts, any type of apparel, anything that you may also want to create. You can do that and you can have that alongside a book. So those are some of the ways, just some of the ways that you can have different streams of income from just writing a book. I know that when I first started off, I had no idea about some of these streams of income until I started writing, and then people started asking for more. And that's when you will notice that you need to start creating different things that will also just open up the stream of income itself. Maybe it's an area of your niche market that has not been tapped into yet, that people are interested in. And typically, when you've established yourself as an expert, people will start to ask you, so do you do this thing? I think it would be cool if you also offered this service or you also offered this product. Your consumers that are loyal to you will unintentionally or unintentionally bring you different untapped areas of the market to where you can create a different stream of income with that. And that's very important because a lot of times people think that if you're just an author, all you do is sell books. And that's not the case at all. You have so many different areas that you can gain access to from that book. And then it will open, again, many doors for you. You may not have to do them all. You may not want to do them all. But I can tell you that people like convenience. People like things that they can get right away. Perhaps consultations is not something that one person may be interested in, but an e-course is something that they may like to do because perhaps their schedule doesn't allow them to carve out time to get on the phone with you or to do email and things like that. But if you already have an e-course of all of the information that you would be talking about anyway in your consultation, that may be something that they are interested in more. So just making sure that you are available to the market in multiple ways will benefit you. And that is the best thing about being an author. You can take the information in the book and create so many different streams from just that information. So it's not you learning a new skill. It's honestly you having the same skill and just taking that skill and then going to different markets with the same skill. So you're literally just creating a different thing for different markets with the same information. And people will look at that and they will take advantage of that because, again, everyone has different things. Everyone has different schedules. Everyone has different preferences. So being able to oblige those different preferences makes you more marketable. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my services and my products and what I have to offer. So I'm not sure how many people here are actually looking to get into law school or anything like that. But this is my market. This is my niche market, the things that I do. So some of the products that I offer, one is my book, of course. It's Becoming Esquire, a law school survival guide series. So with my particular book, It is very easy to read. It is for someone who is looking to get into law school but have no idea where to start. It's not full of information that is going to confuse you. It walks you step by step through the process. And that is for your law school admissions test. That is for your application process. All of the things, knowing what a diversity statement is, how your resume should look, what a personal statement is, when should you write an addendum, and how to even request letters of recommendations. That is what this book has. And it's also, even if you're not looking to get into law school, there are things that are in this book that could be used transferably. So whether or not you're actually going into law school, perhaps you're going into a different area of academia, and this book has different things in it that will work for you as well, because resumes are something that we use traditionally. For the most part, if you're going into academia, you will have to do some sort of a personal statement for the application process. And just knowing that, because I'm also a dual student, I have knowledge in the business sector as well. So for master's degrees, things of that nature. And then I also have monthly mentoring. Again, all students are welcomed. I primarily deal with undergraduate students and or graduate students that are looking to get into law school, but I also assist with students that are looking to attain master's degrees and are looking for information on how to make themselves more marketable, how to make their personal statement stand out, things like that. I also have different bundles that you can take advantage of. Say you just need everything, I have everything for you to get. So for your application assistance bundle, that is everything. That is every statement that you will need to write. I will help you with that. Applications also, whether that be law school related or not, if you need assistance with applying or determining what schools to apply to. So that's a whole beast within itself. And just what considerations to look into when you're applying. I also offer law school admissions test coaching. So this would be just determining one, what ways you want to actually study for the LSAT, what funds you want to allocate for that, because not everyone can take a course. Not everyone can get a private tutor. There are different avenues in which you can study for this exam. So I assist with that. I do also give practice exams as well as reviews. And then I also create a study plan for you with that particular bundle. And then for single services, I do document review of all kinds. So again, whether you're in law school or not, if you need resumes, personal statements, anything that you're looking to have reviewed with edits, I do that as well. And then study plan creation. So that is both academic and for your LSAT. So if you are in a master's program and you're looking to better your grades, that is something I would definitely suggest creating a study plan to that, because obviously you need to know what's due and all of those things and when, and just having a study plan will assist you with that. So I am offering a special offer for all of the attendees today. I am offering 10% off of Becoming Esquire using the code BWMB10, and that will be just immediately following this class, and you will have that at your leisure. Do we have any questions or any comments?
All right. I don't see any questions yet, but they'll probably watch later because people do what they want on Saturday, and then they be like, "Where's the video? I missed it, but I'm coming." Okay, I will see you. So there will be probably more people who watch it later and definitely have questions. And I'm going to take this time to ask you some questions to help them get to know you better and relate to the topic even more. So let's start with this one. Tell me more about you that I cannot find on paper. So I know that you just gave us a full rundown, but tell us the behind the scenes of Carletta Sanders.
So something that is not necessarily on paper is that I am I'm a first generation law student, so that is on paper, but I'll say why I'm saying that. So the road was very difficult for me to figure out how I was going to get into law school. I knew that that was something that was very important to me, but I had to figure it out. And with that, I ended up retaking the law school admissions test 3 times before I decided to apply to law school. So my overall journey took me 2 years, which is a very long time for some people, but it was necessary. And that's why I'm able to share the information that I am able to share, is because I've tried it all. And I've been the person that's paid thousands of dollars for information. I've been the person that's tried a number of different ways to study. So I was able to determine what was going to be the best avenue for me. And I'm able to give that information to my mentees now, because I can give them more information, perhaps more than someone that is doing the same thing that I do, because I've tried different things.
Awesome. So now we're going to shorten your response. I need 3 words to describe who you are and what you do.
Okay. So 3 words that describe who I am. Oh, just 3? Oh my gosh. Okay. 1, I would say who I am. I strive to be a motivating person. So that's 1. Also, tenacious. So I'm very determined. It's who I am. And 1 word that describes what I do, I would say that I am a coach.
I like that. Good descriptive words. You know, what you guys learn in law school, and Carletta's still going through the haze, but we learned how to shorten our words down to the very bare minimum. So mine is 4 words. It's not 3. Mine is lawyer, author, speaker, truth. It's a last brand. It's an acronym for the last brand. So if you are trying to figure out your 3 words, it really will help you market yourself. You can just easily just call upon those for your 30-second elevator pitch. So just know I'm not doing this to just torture y'all. Not last one, but next question. The ouch point, the let's get real. So what was your struggle to get to where you are now? So before you were a published author, what got you to where you were? Because a lot of people just think that you're just successful and it was just real easy. And, Carletta didn't have to do nothing. She didn't have to pay nobody. It just worked out for her. Explain to them how that's probably wrong. But, they believe this. I mean, people really do think that we just, it just worked out for you, and it only worked out because, you just had success and you did it first. That's not what happened.
No. That's not at all what happened, actually. The ouch point for me was, 1, I started studying, and I remember staying up all night because I couldn't get the information and I just wasn't understanding it. So I stayed at work because I am, again, a military veteran. So I stayed at work all night, just trying to learn logic games. And I remembered logic games is the bane of my existence, even though I'm actually pretty good at it now. But that was the ouch moment for me because I stayed so long that I ended up sleeping in my car because I had to go back to work within maybe 3 hours.
Oh.
And yes, and I did not get the information. And I think how I best describe that is that when you go through those moments, those are the moments that either break you, build you, or do both. And that was a moment for me where I said, you know what, whether this is going to be for me, whether I have to sleep in my car every night to get this information, I'm going to do it.
That's awesome. I'm really proud of that because at the end of the day, most people don't admit that. Now, from being in my group, that's the first thing I make y'all share is the thing that you're ashamed of. Mine is still that I failed the bar the first time, and I still cry when I think about little old I think they let the people who failed know first, and then one of them is out of order, but it's messed up because they give you a week to pay to go take it again. So that's my messed up story. But I mean, I used to be ashamed. I was like really ashamed. I didn't want to tell anybody. Like I was just distraught. So you don't have to struggle. You don't have to struggle forever. It's just a temporary setback. So some more lengthy struggles, but your struggle is still a struggle. So what drives you to transform those experiences you just mentioned into something positive?
Because I know it's bigger than me. And I know that there's someone out there that is going through the same process, or going through the same struggle as me. And I know that if I can do it, and because I did it, I feel that it's my purpose to help other people do it, because it's not something that it took me a long time to do it. And honestly, sometimes I doubted that I could do it, but I got it done. And I know if there's anyone else in the same situation as me, they need to see someone who has done it, and not only see someone who's done it, but get the information on how to do it themselves.
I love that. I really do. The next question I have is about diversity. It is important. What do you do to be more inclusive and encourage others to do so as well?
So there are a number of things that I already do. Because one, I created the Jury Society to create that diversity. Because one of the things that is important to me is being a first generation law student. And that looks very different depending on the family. So I've helped a number of people that are women, that are disabled, that are non-binary, Hispanic, Black, all of those things, like to create a more diverse legal field, to create a more diverse like law school experience. So that's something that I take pride in, that people can come to me and say, you know what, I have no idea where to start. I know no lawyers. And for me to be able to give them the information that they need, that is what I take pride in, and being just diverse and just being more inclusive. One of the things that I am working on moving into 2021 is creating more so of a nonprofit, as well as scholarship funds for first generation law students. So that's something that I've been working on for the last couple months or so. So that way they not only have the access, but they also have the funds that are necessary, because law school is very expensive.
Awesome. That is really helpful, and that's powerful. I mean, most people aren't really doing that much to help and give back, but it seems that you have understood the reach back model, because we were not blessed so that we can just continue to fill our pockets. We were blessed to be a blessing. At least that's what I believe. Now, that don't mean that I got to rob myself to pay you because you feel
Right.
I made a lot of money, but that means that, like I want you to win just like I win. I want you to eat like I do. Now you can't same food I eat, but I still want you to eat.
Correct.
So, what is your pro tip for others to use when they doubt themselves?
Know that what got you to will get you through. That's a big thing for me. You've already gotten so far, so you have to dig deep and know that the skills and the tools, and whether that be prayer, just being around your family, those are the things that are going to help you continue. Those are the things that are going to help you be more successful. Those are the things that will get you through the moment of self-doubt. But you just have to, one, just dig deep and realize why you're doing what you're doing.
I love that. That is awesome. The next one you're going to have fun with, because this is all about innovations. Innovation that you developed during COVID-19. So while COVID-19 was happening, you probably had to reinvent yourself a whole lot. So how did you reinvent yourself during this period?
So one thing for me is that Nina can also tell you that I am just not a person who likes to be on live. I am a much better, I consider myself to be a much better person. I'm more likable in person. So learning just how, again, to put myself out there. On social media is something that I've had to do a lot over this pandemic, and just again, believing in the information that I have to offer, and just learning the different things about just social media and doing live talks and hosting and all of these things, because I am a reader and I'm a writer, and those are things that I am extremely confident in. Those are things that I know like the back of my hand. But social media is not one of those things. So having to just learn and be open to just trying different things.
Boom. So then the next one, you're gonna like this one too. Tell us why you decided to give this topic today. You could have talked about anything. Why this topic?
I wanted to give this topic today, and perhaps it's more like a millennial approach, but I wanted to give this topic because a lot of people think that while you're chasing your dreams that you have to sacrifice everything and not get paid and not have passive income. And that you have to live this life where you're broke and you're eating ramen noodles and, you're just completely, just narrowed into one thing. And I think it's very important to dedicate a good majority of your time to things that are very important to you. And for me, school is just education is something that's very important to me, but also being able to live. Also being able to live how I would normally live outside of school. That was something that was very important to me, to maintain a certain lifestyle. And I just want people to know that you can do that. And it doesn't take you going back to school to even learn how to do that. You can take the knowledge that you already have and create a business from that, or create a brand from that, and make money, have your money make money for you, and be a producer in the marketplace and not just a consumer. So that was very important to me.
Awesome. So the next one is, most people think that, we know it all, but could you possibly improve anywhere in what you're talking about today in the authoring market, or marketing yourself better, or maybe it's just being better at connecting with the consumer. So what is it you can do that's better, or that you might still need to work on?
Social media, for sure.
All right. Well, see, that was quick. That's quick. And that's where, getting a good social media manager comes into play. For me, it always worked to have somebody post it. I can come up with it all day, every day, because I love Canva. And it's fun, but I do not want to post it, nor do I want to come up with the quirky captions or the time. I hate that. So I would rather someone just do that, and I tell you, here's the caption I'm thinking about. You have fun with it. And so that's what I do now, because I just couldn't. There was a point in my practice where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. So yes, we all need that social media innovation. That would be great. So next question: how can we better protect and support Black-owned businesses?
One, I would say, to better protect a business. One, just making sure that whatever business it is, that you have all of your legal things in order. And that's just not because I'm a law student, but because I understand how it feels to not feel protected. So whether that be getting legal advice with LLCs, or getting advice about trademarking, because you want to make sure that you're creating a legacy through your business to something that you actually own. So that's one thing that I would say to better protect Black-owned businesses. And then also just continuing to shop with Black-owned businesses. That is something that I have done a lot during the holidays, because even through the pandemic, what people fail to realize, even with small businesses, Black-owned businesses, that a lot of times the items that you're purchasing is essentially how they keep their lights on and how they feed their families. It's not that they have so much everything else going on. They're not Amazon, they're not Walmart, they're not Target, to where if you don't buy anything that day or you don't buy anything ever, they will continue to be sustainable. A lot of times just purchasing, continue to showing like your support by purchasing helps them also. And then just using your platform as well to repost some of the things that they have, to share their business, to do all of those things. And that's free. So you don't even have to spend money to help a Black-owned business by doing that.
Oh, wow. I like that. You know, they're not like Walmart or Target where they can afford for you not to invest in business. In fact, they're constantly trying to get their business products placed so they can get to the place where they can be a Walmart or a Target. But you can help them, and maybe you help them get placed in a local store. You know, that's something that I think you guys could do to help them. And I think that if you get your book, or somebody can help get Carletta's book put in somebody's store, bookstore, that helps drive up Black-owned businesses. So just think outside the box, guys. You know, there's ways to do it without, you know, breaking bank and going kind of crazy. Y'all really just try to help the people that you can. If someone's story like Carletta's inspires you, help them, like really help them. Those are the questions that you need to be asking. How can we better protect and support Black-owned businesses? Needs to be a question that you start off every meeting with if you work in any business industry, because that's the area that gets forgotten. Minority-owned businesses get forgotten. Black-owned businesses get forgotten more often than not. It will only been focused on recently because of the Black Lives Matter movement becoming very big and popular during this election season. So just remember, like, they were not always prioritized. In fact, there weren't a lot of people investing in Black-owned businesses because when they had a bad experiences, they just left and went back to the white-owned business. And that's not necessarily a good way to handle business. So for that, I like the whole, they're not the Walmart. I like that. Just it works into a theme that I'm seeing as being your like pitch for future companies. Like, it's not I'm not Walmart, so I can't sustain myself just because I want to. You need to invest, and that's just a power piece for a corporate later. But that's where my brain goes. I see things for people before they see it. So my next question, not that important, is what's your $1 million idea? What's something that you have seen that's a problem in the industry you serve in that you would love them to fix, identify a solution to? And if you have a solution, you can mention part of it here. Of course, if it's something that you really want to protect, don't mention it here. Just, you know, I really encourage people who listen to this, you know, listen, don't take. But a lot of people are too lazy to actually carry it out. So I just rely on that method alone. And the people who are too lazy to carry it out will not ever take your idea. So if you're really worried about it, you can always follow 1B, which is an intent to use application for trademarks, right after this video.
Something that I've always wanted to do is, I mean, and it's already in a sense been done, but just create an actual, like, a prep academy for pre-law students to go through. So essentially, you know, there's a number of different like prep academies, but they're all military. So these students would just go through like a prep legal academy of some sort. And I just think that there are certain things that I wish I would have known about law that I just don't think you can learn in 3 years about the law. And I would just love to have a place where people can come and just learn about the law on a continuous basis and have the knowledge that they need to succeed in the legal field, whether they become politicians or lawyers or anything else that's, you know, not necessarily a JD. You know, there's people that get PhDs in law and things like that. So just having that extra information that they can use for their lives.
I like that. I will, you know, co-found whatever academy you want to create together. So, you know, I'm already like all in so we can invest together in this academy, because I think that it's about time I stop telling people how much I know and just teaching them.
For sure.
The next question is, do you have any job opportunities, remote, internships, anything, mentorship that you want to provide to people or that you have coming up?
Coming up, I will be in 2021. I will be having a couple of different my coworkers here. A couple of different areas of opportunities. One for sure is a social media manager, and the second would be some sort of a HR or assistant, executive assistant. So those are things that I will be looking for next year, just because life is getting busier by the day. So I would love to be able to teach someone about HR and someone that is business related on how to do that and how to effectively run a business and things like that. But I also will need assistance with just being able to maintain like social media platforms and things of that nature.
Awesome. And then one of the final questions before we get to the end pieces is a motivational message that you wish someone gave you.
So here's the biggest thing. Whether, again, you're a law related or not, since this is the Black Women Mean Business, I'm assuming that everyone here, you at least have a business in you. And a lot of times, your business is directly related to someone else's life and can impact someone else's life. And your obedience to start that business is vital. And if you're feeling something that just keeps telling you like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, then you should. And once you do it, you're going to feel so much better. And of course, it's going to be scary, but you have to jump, because if you don't jump, you don't fly. And everyone deserves to fly. In fact, you deserve to soar. And once you've decided that you're going to be obedient, you will see that what's on the other side of obedience is abundance. And you deserve to live a life that's full of abundance because you've been obedient and because you started a business that impacts others.
Awesome. And then we already know you have offers connected to the event that you mentioned. Last but not least, how may they contact you besides the email scrolling at the bottom?
So I have, I'm on all social media platforms for the most part. So on Facebook, I'm under the Juris Society. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. You can also go to directly to thejurissociety.com, and there is a place where it says contact me, and that sends directly to my email. So you have multiple ways to actually get in contact with me.
Awesome, guys. So that's basically the end for Carletta. We're going to go talk offline without you guys. But I just want to thank you guys so much for at least listening today. And if you're going to watch it later, make sure you give her lots of feedback and reach out afterwards to let her know how you talked or how you like to talk. I know that some of you guys have already reached back out to speakers after they've talked, and they have sent me the email saying, oh my gosh, somebody told me that they really enjoyed my talk. And that's the type of information that I want to hear from this conference, this event. So I just want to take the time and thank Carletta again. So I want to go ahead and put your flyer back up here just one time before we go to the next speaker. So Carletta was our last. Our next speaker is actually Ashley Brown Bell. She's going to be talking about LLC formation. If y'all want to form LLC, well, let Ashley walk it on through. And this is a master class, y'all. She's going to be talking straight to you, and that's super important. So I think your video might have frozen, Carletta, but we got. So I want you guys to just thank Carletta and just know that we have more in store. But we're almost at the end, y'all. We're at the end, and y'all better not call me until Monday, or actually Tuesday, because I'm not even open on Monday. And Tuesday is my last day before the holiday. So leave me alone. Okay, let me have some space. I'm going to send you emails on Monday, but I don't want no more phone calls after the 15th because I want to spend some time with my family. So I say all that to say, you guys really, y'all have no idea how thankful I am for you, but you will soon because by the time the next speaker comes up, your email will be out to you to let you know how much I care and really appreciate what you did. But we're going to go on a private Zoom link without y'all. I'm sorry, you can't come to this, but I will say, I have loved hearing Carletta's story and the way that she broke out all the different income streams that you can have as an author. I think that was really, really key. So a lot of people just don't know that those are all untapped markets. And I think that the way you highlighted that was very effective. So
thank you.
well done. We'll see you in the Zoom room. Bye.